Hello there everybody, how's it going? It's Jessie from Jessie Marie Does Stuff here on FlossTube, and I am coming to you on this Saturday, June 15th, 2024, with a StitchCon show and tell recap. I am never one to do a retreat recap, but I am inspired by those who have come before me, and I have a lot of stuff to show you, lots of show and tell going on here. I am surrounded on all sides by generosity of friends, both new and familiar. I have the little bit of stitching that I have done, and so I just kind of want to take this moment to dedicate to StitchCon 2024 Weekend A, which took place last weekend. So currently Weekend B is ongoing, and I hope that the folks at Weekend B are having a fabulous time. I really enjoyed my time at StitchCon Weekend A. It was one for the memory banks. But before I get into everything, welcome everybody. Welcome to both my returning viewers as well as anybody who is new here. Perhaps you're checking out my channel for the first time. Thank you so much for spending part of your day with me while I talk about this retreat that I went to. So, just a real quick sort of lowdown on what StitchCon is for those who are maybe less familiar. StitchCon is put on by a shop in Sharonville, outskirts of Cincinnati, Ohio, and the shop's name is Keepsakes, and they pseudo partner up with Pam and Steph of Just Keep Stitching, and they put on an annual stitching retreat. The first one was in 2018, where we crammed 150 of us into a very small space at the La Quinta, and it thankfully has evolved tremendously. So I think the next year it expanded out to 2 separate weekends, each of them 300 attendees each. And it takes place now at the Sharonville Convention Center, which is a much larger space. And I just have to tell you that if you, like me, are an introvert, and so the idea of sitting with 300 people, many of which, if not all of which, will be strangers, if that sounds intimidating to you, trust me, it's intimidating to me as well. Going into it, I was I was battling the sense of overwhelm. But it is so tremendously worth it. It is so good for the soul to be around people who just get it. They just get you in a way that most often our family and our quote-unquote real friends they just don't understand. They don't understand the hype over the latest blue flower pattern or the tiny over one on 46 count stitching. They just don't get it. And so it is worth it to battle the overwhelm and to battle the introversion, to be around like-minded folks. And that was my experience. I did go to StitchCon last year, so if you've been with me for any length of time, then the larger crowd, if you will, is not unfamiliar. However, what is unfamiliar is Weekend A. So last year I attended Weekend B. It worked out better for my family that I go to Weekend B. And this year, when I set up my registration, I put in for either because I was willing to see what Weekend A was like, but I also really enjoyed my time at Weekend B. And so I was kind of up for whatever. And I was placed, if you will, with Weekend A. And they are different. I don't know if it's a 2023 to 2024 difference or if it's a just a Weekend A versus Weekend B difference. Weekend B, I felt, was a lot more chill. We were really relaxed. And Weekend A, the hype is so real. Last year, I think I got into line at probably, I want to say 8:45, 9 o'clock. Doors open at 10. And I was backed up into the Hyatt. So the convention center is attached to the Hyatt. And so we were backed up into the Hyatt. But this year I lined up at 7:30. And we'll get into all of that here in just a little bit. And by 8:30, they had to kick the line outside, or maybe it was 9 o'clock. They had to kick the line outside because they were blocking business at the Hyatt. I think just the excitement was just so very real. So weekend A is definitely a different vibe than weekend B. Both are tremendous in their own right. So what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about StitchCon. I'm going to do my best to make this fairly brief because, as you can hear, I've got a sinusy head cold thing. I have home tested negative twice for COVID, but I am nonetheless, I'm audibly dealing with something. So I'm going to try to make this brief so that I don't devolve into coughing fits. But I'm going to show you the stitching that I did while I was there, some of my purchases, and then I'm going to do a real quick show and tell of the amazing gifts that I received, and trades, and just overwhelming generosity of people who were at StitchCon last weekend. So let's get into it. And we're going to start with the stitching. We're going to start with the stitching that I did. So I took, per my usual with retreats, I took too many things. I took way too many projects. I'm like, well, I've got my hotel room, so I could do some stitching in my room. And I just think that I'm going to stitch a whole lot more than I ever do. But that's okay. So I didn't get to everything that I took. But I did get to a few things. So first up, living in this project bag. This is by Black Cat X Stitchery, and in here is the monthly Quaker series by From the Heart Needle Art by Wendy. So I have here the cover for August. Last year I did a giveaway, and Natashia of Britches Get Stitches, she won the giveaway for these, and so as I am finishing at least a few of them, I'm sending them to her. And she was a Weekend B attendant that also switched over to Weekend A. And so I wanted to get July done and potentially finish August as well, so I could just hand them to her, you know, save a little bit on shipping. So that did not happen entirely. I did get a finish of July Quaker while I was there. And so here is July Quaker. Forgive the parked threads. So there is my finish of July Quaker. I'm stitching these on a 28 count antique white cashel linen from Zweigart. I am using a DMC conversion. 99.99% of these I am using the DMC conversion that Wendy provides on the charts. They are charted in Classic Colorworks, but because I'm stitching them over one, I switched to DMC. I don't have a huge Classic Colorworks stash, and so I would have to buy 36 skeins of Classic Colorworks for not a whole lot. And B, if they're most times Classic Colorworks are barely variegated, more tonal than anything, and you may not be able to see that, so I didn't think it was worth it, so I did switch to the DMC. So for the most part, I did sub for the colors that Wendy calls for. With July, I'll insert a picture here because I handed it to Natashia while we were in Ohio last weekend. This pinky coral orange color was charted to be a red, so leaning on the red, white, and blue for July. And I didn't have the red DMC that Wendy called for, and I was totally cool with going with a different sort of a summer feel than a red, white, and blue feel for these. So I've become a bit of a snob. I really like Pattern Keeper, and I have Max Stitch. I have a full version of Max Stitch, And so I have worked on recharting these in my charting software so that I can put it into Pattern Keeper, because these are paper charts and I don't have access to any kind of PDF otherwise. So I've come in a bit of a snob for Pattern Keeper things. And so I was able to play with the colors on Pattern Keeper, adjusting the threads to see what I liked. I thought that this was going to be more pinky. This is DMC 3341. I thought it was going to give more pink. It's giving more orange. It's not my favorite, but I don't hate it. And it is finished. So that is pretty cool. I think that when I showed this to y'all last time, I had this motif left to do and the in July. Maybe more than that. Now that I'm thinking back, I didn't watch my last video, so I don't remember. But anyway, I know that last video I had started August, and so I did get further into August. Again, DMC conversion. And I am just using Wendy's DMCs. And I have about 1,500 stitches left to do on this. And I think I worked on, so I finished July up on Thursday. And then on Friday, I was just, I can't keep going. I need to switch it up. I need to work on a different project. And 1,500 stitches left would have been a big ask for a retreat setting. I didn't think I was going to get it done, and so I was ready to make the switch. But I did get a little bit further. Both of these were called for whip go for me for my non-full coverage board. On my non-full coverage board, the goal is either the finish or 1,500 stitches. And I have succeeded in that with this. So this one is done for the month. I will finish this in July and potentially get started on September. But this one is done for the month. I'm almost done with this big old motif here. And then finish it up. So, love these. I thoroughly enjoy stitching on this. And it was a good conversation starter, because when folks would come by, they would see this and see how tiny they are, and so it was a good opener. So I do have more of this fabric because I'm only going to get August and September on here. So there is that. And if anybody's wondering, this is a Nerge. I know they are making the rounds in popularity. They have for a little while now. These are great. They are really great alternatives. If you don't love the tension of a hoop and you don't like the bulk of a Q-snap, this is good. It's good tension and it's not near as bulky. You don't need near as much margin for the Nerges. I got mine on Amazon. I got a set of like 4 of them. So there's that. Okay, I gotta pick up the pace here. I did spend a little bit of time on living in this cactus project bag. I love this one. I worked on Secret Garden by Hello from Liz Matthews. So I got to work on this for a little bit on Friday. I worked on this when I couldn't anymore with the Quakers. And so just a quick, I think I did probably not even 200 stitches on this, which is okay. That's all right. This is a 40 count Newcastle linen in pewter. Hold please, let me confirm that. Yes, pewter by Color and Cotton. So this is a Patreon chart by Liz. I am in her Patreon, go figure. And it is no longer available on her Patreon, but I think it's going to be released sometime next year, possibly a Nashville release. So it comes with 2 versions, a muted and a vibrant version, and I think I'm blending the 2. So I'm doing the muted version for the background and the vibrant version for the bird. And I'm loving it so far. I haven't gotten into anything but some leaves, but it's just super fun and super pretty. So looking forward to spending some more time with this, hopefully in the not so distant future. Saturday was a day for new starts. Yeah, I had 2 new starts, almost 3. But between visiting and shopping and whatnot, I only made it to 2 new starts. But the first one I started lives in this project bag currently. This is a project bag by Crafty Kim that I picked up at Stitch New Jersey last year. And I wanted to be sure to start my piece for the Strawberry Moon Sal and June Dog. And so I started Beauty Spot by Long Dog Samplers. I believe I talked about this last time. So I started Beauty Spot. My new start is lame. It's really nothing to write home about, but it's started. I'm stitching this on a 40 count Newcastle linen in, I think this is Baby Sheep by X2 Designs. And really exciting stuff here. A green border. I toyed with the idea of doing a variegated for the border at least, but I just decided to go with the DMC because I had it ready to go. So yeah, not a super exciting start. 40 count Newcastle linen, 1/2 with the DMC. This one comes with a Gentle Arts, I believe, conversion, but I'm going with the DMC. This is a fat half of fabric, and I won't need all of this, but a good majority of it I'm gonna need. This is not a small piece by any stretch. I'm not going to finish my Strawberry Moon Salad in the month of June, that is for sure. I will work on this again in June if I have the time, but we'll see. So there's Beauty Spot. June Dog. Oh, I love it. I love it. I'm so obsessed with Long Dog Samplers right now. I'm walking around, seeing the stitching and seeing folks working on various long dogs. I just made me want to start all the things. Okay, so this next one is equal parts haul purchases and equal parts new start. So first I'm going to show you the project bag. Isn't that great? I should say, isn't that grape? Yeah, super cute. This is by Lynn X Stitch Creates. And I am so loving this project bag. It's big. This is a big bag. And in here lives my new start for Beach Rat. So Beach Rat is by the Artsy Housewife, Gigi. And the Artsy Housewife had a trunk show in the annex at StitchCon, and we all just drooled all over, not literally, at least for my sake, I can't speak for anybody else, but the Artsy Housewife trunk show pieces. I mean, just unbelievably fantastic. Everything Gigi does, I want to stitch. So I was informed that we were going to start Beach Rat. Beach Rat features a beach rat, which is a seagull. And I think I expressed in my last video that I'm not a beachy person. I don't love the beach. I was speaking with my husband the other day about really wanting to take a cruise, and he's like, well, where are we going to go? Because we don't like the beach. So we're going to be the cruise to Alaska or cruise to Northern Canada kind of people, which is great for us. So it was just hilarious that I was presented with the idea that we were going to start Beach Rat. So preview here of what this will look like finished. This I got as a PDF because, as I have mentioned, Pattern Keeper. And so got started on Saturday afternoon. Again, not super exciting of a start, but that is retreat stitching for you. So this is my start. So this is 40 count Newcastle linen and Balmoral by Coloring Cotton. This is a fabric that I had brought to potentially start Beauty Things, Beautiful Things by Lindy Stitches on. But I thought it was good and moody for beach rat. You know, even though I'm not a beachy person, I'm in for a sal. I'm in for a sal. So yeah, so very exciting. This is charted in a mix of, I believe it's Gast, Classic Colorworks, and DMC. The letters are supposed to be done in Blackbird, DMC 3371. I don't love to stitch with overdyed dark brown black shades that are barely variegated, nor do I really stitch with overdyed white. So I decided to switch it up, and I was going to do just the DMC for the words. But I thought these words, because they're so blocky, a variant would be fun. Maybe not the one that they called for, but maybe something else. So I went to the annex, and they had Forbidden Fiber Co. as well as Almond M&M's threads. And so I looked at the Almond M&M's, and I didn't see anything that spoke to me. But I have never stitched with Leanne's threads with Forbidden Fiber Co. So I picked up a few, and you'll see them in a little bit. Just some things to audition. And I decided to go with Salem, which is a purpley gray. Oh, it's beautiful, beautiful thread. On the Balmoral, it doesn't look purpley unless you're up close to it. But that's okay. I'm good with, you know, if y'all can't see it, that's all right. But I can. So yeah, I'm really excited to work on this some more. But nonetheless, we started beach rat. So that's the stitching I did. Sunday, travel day, coming back home, I didn't stitch on Sunday. Monday, I started to feel rough. Capital R, rough. And so I didn't stitch for a couple of days while I was trying to feel better. Since a couple of days ago, I did pick up my stitching again. And I didn't bring it here to show you because this isn't really a typical FlossTube. I'm working on Personal Sunshine. I have way too many goals. I did not accomplish what I needed to between last weekend and then early this week not stitching at all. I cannot complete all of my goals. I have had to pare things down tremendously to just the bare minimums. And that got more complicated today. But anyway, so I'm working on Personal Sunshine towards my 5,500 stitches goal. I want to finish that piece this year. I want to finish it as soon as possible. So I've got to spend time on that. Real quickly here, something that is probably going to make an appearance in my next regular FlossTube. Today, the Artsy Housewife. Oh my goodness. So today, the Artsy Housewife released her Patreon pieces, and the tier 4 piece, Within a Dream, undone. When I opened it this morning, when I opened that email this morning, I was a goner. So I downloaded that immediately, got it uploaded into Pattern Keeper. I'm going to raid my Gentle Art stash and to pull the variegated things, and I'm going to start that soon. I know that Evertotes is going to have a Roxy Flossco conversion available, I believe, today. But I can't wait. I cannot wait. I am so excited for that piece, to get that going. So I may start that today or this weekend or something. I don't know. We'll see. So cool. Get on Gigi's Patreon. Get on Liz's Patreon. I haven't jumped into Teresa Koga's Patreon. But the temptation is constant. I think I mentioned in my last video that the Patreons are dangerous, but it's a fun danger. Okay, so that pretty much concludes the stitching that I have done. So now we're going to get into the show and tell portion of the episode, where I just show you all the stuff that I have bought or received. So real quickly here, we did take the keepsakes, the Stitchy Bus to keepsakes, and I picked up threads while we were at keepsakes. That was pretty much all I grabbed. So I got the overdyes for Beach Rat. The gold I have in stash, and since it wasn't called, since it's not a whole lot of it that's called for, and I knew I wasn't going to get there yet, I just figured I'd grab it from home. But I did pick up these ones, and then I also picked up the overdyes for Beautiful Things, which are Classic Colorworks, which, as I mentioned, I don't have a whole lot of. But just real quickly, there they are. Gorgeous. So those are the overdyes for Beautiful Things, which I hope to start soon. We'll see. Per usual, the majority of my purchasing was done at the Annex. So at StitchCon, Keepsakes has what they call the Annex. It's essentially a trunk show. And various designers send in their trunk shows, their finished models, and copies of the charts that you can grab up right there. You don't even have to, I mean, you can keep on your house slippers. You don't have to Stitchy Bus. You don't have to drive over to Keepsakes. It's all right there, and it's dangerous and fabulous and so much fun. So as I mentioned, I got the bag from Linex Stitch Creates. I got no fabric this year, which is a bit outside of the norm for me. I was going to, and then I was overwhelmed by the number of people in the fabric, and so I just said, I'm good. I do have a ton of fabric, and since I'm so into 40 count neutrals right now, and that's my fabric of the month subscription, I figured I was okay. But I did pick up project bags because I can't stop. So forgive me, Vic, but I did cheat on you a little bit. So I picked up these two bags from Black Cat X Stitchery. This one is so pretty with the puppers on it. And then in here is a chart from the Blue Flower, which I thought was rather fitting. This is In Praise of Pollinators, which I know a bunch of folks are doing in a stitch along right now. But I picked that up and immediately put it in this bag. And I think that's the only thing that's in here. I love Tiffany's bags. They are fabulous. Please don't tell my friend Vic that I love somebody's bags that aren't hers. I love Vic's bags too. We all know this. I have a ton of them. So when I went to go get the thread for Beach Rat, you can't leave the Annex with just one thread. One thread can't travel alone. So I got some friends, just some other things to audition, some really pretty things. I got the ocean side because I thought beachy, maybe a blue, but it became quickly apparent that the Salem was the way to go. So I have bronze, dark walnut, and Oceanside, and then the Salem. And these are great. These are 10-yard skeins, so that's fabulous. Super awesome. I picked up Heart and Hand floral etchings because these did nothing for me until I saw the models in person. These are so pretty. And so I'm gonna have to stitch both this one and floral etchings too. Yeah, these are stunning by Cecilia Turner. And then also seasonal etchings. Talk about a good way to use up my color and cotton stash. I mean, I never use it, and so this would be a really great use for that. So floral etchings. And then another Black Cat X-Stitchery bag. Just ballet dancers. I'd like to get my kiddo into dancing, and so super, super cute. Super pretty bag. And there is Tiffany's card. She does have an Etsy shop, which I have frequented. So there's that. Another blue flower, because again, this might not have done it for me, but the model sitting there, just so adorable. And so you can see, oh, I can't wait to stitch this either. I'm so excited. Yeah, this will be fun. And maybe I'll even put it together. Won't that be something? So very cool. Bees in the Greenhouse is what it's called. The Houston Embroiderers Guild 50th anniversary piece. So there is that. Very cool. And then I picked up the Chantel's 141 folk paddle. This is perfectly sized for the Four Seasons Folk pattern series by Hands On Design. So a seasonal series. Sure, sign me all the way up. But I was also thinking that this might fit Hive Rolls. I have to do some measuring to see if it will fit, but Hive Rolls by... The name is escaping me. I'll flash it on the screen. You all are yelling it to me. I can't hear you. I'm sorry. Hive Rolls, I think, may fit on this depending on how I stitch it. I have a 46 count reserved for that, so potentially. But also the seasonal series by Hands On Design. I love a good seasonal series. Okay, last thing I purchased was a thread organizer. I picked this up from Keepsakes. Yeah. I can't help it. Can't help it. I get overwhelmed at Keepsakes. There's just so much to see. There is so much to look at. And I have made insane purchases at Keepsakes in the past because that overwhelm just goes right to my head. So sticking to just threads and a thread keep this time, yeah, that was the way to go. Okay, before I get into the show and tell of the gifts that I've received and the things that I traded for, if you will, I have to give like a huge shout out to my table. So as I mentioned, I was nervous going into StitchCon this year. Unexplained, but nonetheless, I was a nervous ball of energy. I didn't have a plan. I didn't have a table set, if you will. I was on my own and set off into the great wide yonder. So I actually got in touch with Erin on Facebook. We both had commented on a post by somebody who was looking for Northern Virginia stitchers who were attending StitchCon weekend day. And I am in Fredericksburg, which is not technically Northern Virginia, but also kind of is Northern Virginia now. Just because of the way that expansion is happening. So Erin, as it turns out, is from Culpeper, which is 25 minutes from me tops, which is just so wild. It is so wild to find stitchers that are just so close to you. I graduated from high school in Culpeper. Like it's just wild to me that we are that close. So we kind of got connected and started chit-chatting, very basically, leading into weekend day last weekend. On Wednesday, when I arrived, Erin had put up a post in the StitchCon group that they were stitching at the Live-In, which is the hotel that I stayed at, on Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening. So after I decompressed from travel, I gathered myself together and went over there to go stitch with some folks and got to meet a few people and got to meet Erin in person for real. And so that was really cool. So then Erin said, "Do you have dinner plans?" And I said, "No, I don't actually have dinner plans. I was thinking I was going to DoorDash, just to prepare for the hubbub of the weekend. And she said, well, why don't you come to dinner with Amanda and I? Amanda, I was supposed to meet in person for real at StitchCon Weekend B last year, but it just never worked out. And so it was kind of cool. We got to meet for real in person, and I got to establish this friendship and go out to dinner with some folks. So we went to the Hofbrau house. I should have pictures to share with you, but I don't, because I am so in the moment at retreats that it's just not natural for me to take pictures. It's not an automatic thing for me. I have to consciously think about it, and I more often than not don't. So, so it's essentially a German beer house. And so we went with, Amanda came up, picked Erin and I up from the live-in, she and her husband, and Erin and myself. And we went down there and we met up with Tara and Chandria. Tara is Wild Woman Crafts here on FlossTube. Chandria is Chandria Carol Stitches. Yes, here on FlossTube. Everybody's going to be linked in the description box below. If I'm going to name drop, I'm going to link you. So it was really cool. Got to chat with them and meet some new people and have dinner, and it was a lot of fun. And then we ended up filming a Blair Witch Project style FlossTube video for Erin in the back seat of Amanda's car. Erin was coerced, if you will, to film her first FlossTube video, and so we did that in the back seat of Amanda's car, parked under a street light because it was 10 o'clock at night following a storm, and it was fun. It's just a fun thing. Erin did make her official FlossTube debut. I haven't watched it yet, but it's in my watch later, to hopefully catch today. She is Walking in Stitches, the hiking stitcher here on FlossTube. Again, name drop, linked. So while we were at dinner, we kind of established our table. I knew that Chandria was bringing her friend Amy as well. They have known each other since childhood, and so we had 5 of a traditional 6-person table. And so that was really, really exciting. So I just have to give a huge internet hug to everybody at table 54. Milka of Mega Stitches eventually joined us, and it was so good to finally get to meet her in person. It's just the weirdest thing. We established these legitimate, lifelong friendships on the internet, and yet we're meeting for the first time. I don't know. It's strange, but nonetheless, finally got to meet Milka in person, and so she joined our table, and so we had our table of 6. So table 54, I could never. Y'all are the best. Seriously. So anyway, all of that to say, let me dive into all of the cool stuff. Just some typical things that you're going to see in all of these recap videos. Here is my StitchCon attendee badge. So these are my receipts. We got a giant bag. It is a huge bag. It is giving SNL skit vibes, tiny bag or giant hat or giant cup. It's giving that. It's a really, really big bag. Fabulously well made. It's just so interesting to see the size of the bag just grow and expand over the years. We also got a keychain, zipper pull, what have you, which is the Keepsakes House 2024. As well as our passport. The passport just gives you the itinerary. It also gives you a list of all of the FlossTubers in attendance between both weekends. So everybody who's a FlossTuber was in this list. We also got this really great little notebook in our bag, and an issue of Just Cross Stitch magazine. This is the summer 2024 edition. We were at table 54, and table 54 is right next to the freebie table. I am not typically one to sort through the freebie table, but I do oftentimes pick up things from the freebie table, such as table mates are passing around their things that they brought for the freebie table, and so you get advance pick. So I did get a couple things that way. First is Stacy Nash Strawberry Basket. I probably should have started this for Strawberry Moon Sal, but I didn't. That's okay. This is really cute. I love a Stacy Nash. We know this. And the little scissor fob with the strawberry. Oh, yeah, this will be fun. I don't stitch smalls often, but that could be cool. Maybe for a smalls exchange. I did not do the smalls exchange. I always think I'm going to, and then it gets to be like 8 days before said retreat, and I'm like, never mind. I'm not going to stress myself out. And then also in the preemptive freebie table, if you will, Lebanon House Sampler, aka the Keepsakes House, designed by Karen Kluba, Rosewood Manor. Hey y'all, so Jessie from behind the editing. So I went through the whole video and I decided to switch things up. Rather than show you each of my table gifts and just awesome gifts individually, I laid them all out on the desk here and sort of filmed just a quick overview of the amazing things that I received while at StitchCon. Rather than go through each thing individually, it took an extra 30 minutes. And a lot of it's going to be repeated over a lot of recaps. So this is just a real quick run-through preview of everything that I got. But I am in editing. So hence the behind the screen here. But enjoy. It's just so many cool things. And if you have any questions about anything, let me know. And if I have any labels upside down, I am so sorry. Thank you all so much for your tremendous, overwhelming generosity. I got so many beautiful things here that I am going to put to good use. The floss drops and the zipper pulls. I mean, just y'all are fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing all of this with me. I'm losing my voice. The sun is going in and out behind the clouds. But I have just one last thing to talk about before I end off here. And that is that I brought some Whipco needle minders. So you may start to see these here. You may start to see these pop up in FlossTube videos and on Instagram. I had these made to bring with me to StitchCon this year. I had ordered 100 and some mistake with the shop that I ordered them from. They only sent me half, so I brought 50 to a room of 300. So if you didn't get one, I am so sorry that I ran out. I was trying not to advertise that I had them until a little bit further into the weekend, because I feel bad that I didn't have enough necessarily. I know that those folks that I won't see at any retreats, be it we just don't run the same retreat circuit, or you are halfway across the planet from me, what have you. I know that a lot of WIPGO folks are going to want one of these, and so I am considering not only the logistics, but the plausibility of me potentially selling these after retreat season. So I have another retreat in July, and after that point I'll start working on finding a way to perhaps get these into more hands, because I know that they're going to be a little bit of a hot commodity since these are the first ones I have ever done. So I was trading these with folks. And so if you came up to chat about WIPGO and you told me that you were either a WIPGO dropout, which I need to turn into a needle minder as well, or that you were having tremendous success with it, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your kind comments, for playing along with my little game. I am consistently, repeatedly overwhelmed by the joy that you all share with me with regards to WIPGO. I am so thankful for those of you who gave me the nudge to make it a public thing, to make it available for the stitching community at large to participate. Thank you so much for that. WIPGO is my legacy, and I appreciate that y'all appreciate it. So like I said, if I didn't see you, if I didn't get one of these to you at StitchCon this year, I am attending Stitch New Jersey here in about 6 weeks, 5-6 weeks. And so I will have more of them to share out then. And afterwards, we'll get to figuring out how to share them with everybody else who wants one. So anyway, that is it for the StitchCon recap. I know I forgot things. I know I forgot people. If I got to say hi to you, thank you for coming to say hi. Hugs, handshakes, waves, whatever. Thank you so much. Thank you to the team at StitchCon for putting on a pretty seamless event. And especially thank you to Table 54 for adopting me and for creating lifelong memories. I don't know if I am attending StitchCon next year. That is up for consideration. We will see. But anyway, thank y'all for watching. Thank you for your continued support of me and my channel. I hope that you're well. I hope that you're stitching. As always, be kind. I will see you in the next one. Take care, y'all.